Well, welcome back. Northeast Iowa here. Today we're going to go ahead and we're going to put sweet potato plants into a larger pot so they can get quite nicely rooted, and then once it warms up we can get them out into the garden. But before we go ahead and do that, I want to kind of give you a quick explanation on how I ended up getting my slips off of my sweet potato. And I did this over the winter, so I ended up using one of my old sweet potatoes from last year, filled a container like this up, and this is a container that we ended up getting from the grocery store, had some things in it, and it's a heavy duty one. It works out really well, so I just go ahead and I kind of save everything as we purchase, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I use this over the winter, fill the container full of nice potting soil, and then I go ahead and I put the sweet potato on top of the potting soil. And then once I end up doing that, I'll keep the area around the sweet potato nice and moist. And then you got to find yourself a nice location, a southern window that gets a lot of sun, because these babies love heat. And in order to be able to get your slips off of that sweet potato, they need to stay consistently warm. Now during the winter months, of course, the daylight is really short, but if you can get what you can get on them, and then as the days get longer, you'll start seeing a little bit more and more production on the sweet potato. So once the sweet potato gets growing, this is what ends up occurring. You get all these beautiful little slips off of these sweet potatoes. So you'll get a slip like this that will grow on the side of the sweet potato. There'll be numerous amount of slips that you can get off of one sweet potato. So these are the ones that I ended up getting off of the sweet potatoes. And then what I ended up doing, I was put them into a glass with some water in it, and you go ahead and you put it in your window, probably right next to your sweet potato that you may be taking off all the slips on. But they need a lot of heat, and then once that water starts warming up, they'll end up rooting so nicely. Look at these just gorgeous root systems on this thing. I mean, it's just amazing. So they're going to have a real good start already once we get them into these pots. But easy to do. And I'll tell you what, if you like your sweet potatoes and you've been ordering these slips out of catalogs, I just kind of recently looked into the catalogs lately. I love looking into them. I get about 20, 30 of them a year. But these things are ranging between $2 to $2.50 a piece. So you're getting them for free. Pretty cool deal. So anyway, that's how I did that. So I'm going to just go ahead and slip this guy off to the side here. And then we're going to go ahead and start planting these slips. And it's a really easy deal. I just go ahead, fill the pots up a little bit. That's some nice soil here that's been mixed in with some compost. Putting them down about halfway with soil. And what I do is take the slip, and then I go ahead and just kind of put your finger down in there a little bit, get it buried into that soil. Give it some more soil around it. Push it down in there. A bit more here. I'm going to give it as much as you can, because once you water it, that soil is going to settle down really, really quick. So that's just the process of one right there. Got another beautiful slip. I mean, just look at the root system on that. I mean, these things got such a great jump start already that they're going to do really well. Now, I'm going to end up keeping them in our garage here until she warms up a little bit more. But our garage is semi-heated, so these things will do just fine in here. And then once we get a sunny day, we'll just kind of move them outside, get them into the sun, get them acclimated. That's the nice thing about this time of the year, if you can get your stuff germinated and up and running into pots. It's a lot of work, but in the long run, I mean, you're going to be sitting here and you're going to look at bedding plants. They're going to be pretty darn expensive this coming year, just due to the fact that everything is increasing in price. And you know, there's no more 99-cent 4-packs or 6-packs anymore. And if you can do a lot of it yourself, and some of it you don't have time for, I agree, but the ones that are expensive and you can somehow manage to do it yourself, gosh, do it. Because you can stick a lot of money into the bedding plants, and before they're into the ground, you got yourself a substantial amount of money already into it. So every little bit helps. You know, tomato plants, you can get those up and going again. You know, do a few tomato plants. I know as the season goes on in the greenhouses, you know, they go ahead and they start liquidating right around the 4th of July, and you can get some pretty good deals on your bedding plants then. But then I go ahead and put some of this bone meal in, and as you well know, I love the bone meal. So I just go ahead and sprinkle a little bit in there. Get it around in there. And I just kind of leave a little space up to the top of the pot, because these things are going to settle a little bit when you water it, and then you can put some more soil in there. And bone meal is really good for the sweet potatoes, and we love sweet potatoes. And you can get a lot of sweet potatoes off of one plant. You can put them in pots, and you can get a lot of sweet potatoes out of a pot. And one or two little slips that you can put in there, you can get some pretty good sized sweet potatoes off of them. And I prefer the sweet potato over the regular potato. I just think they're so much better for you, and they're really healthy. So we're just going to get the watering bucket here, and we'll water them down. Now this whole tray is waterproof that I showed you. So it's kind of a good little deal, because look how nice these little 4-packs fit right inside this little container here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll water them in. And the water will go through all the way to the bottom of the little pack here. And then the water is caught in this little container here, which is kind of cool, because it will give this plant a good chance to get some more moisture from whatever is released from this pot, and then it will come back up through the root system again. So now what I'll do here is, some of this is really settled, so this is where it's kind of nice to not put it all the way up to the top right away, and then you can go ahead and fill the rest of it up, and it'll keep settling as you keep watering it. But and then these babies will really take off and go on you. So, but you don't want to get them outside into your garden until at least you got your soil temperature about 50 degrees, because these they'll get frostbitten really fast. So do this trick. You save yourself a lot of dollars, man, I tell you. Just look it up in the seed catalog, see what they charge you. I think you're going to just be surprised, and then you can do stuff like this by yourself. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn off the video, and then we're going to get our coats on. We're going to walk out to the vegetable garden, and I want to kind of show you how well the onion plants have been performing in this cooler weather. The little tops of them are kind of just nipped a little bit, but they're such a healthy plant, and I think we're going to see some good results. So we're just going to turn you off for a little bit, and then we'll be right back. Okay, we're out here now in the vegetable garden, got our coats on. Cool day, but not bad considering what the weather has been recently. But these are our walking Egyptian onions. And I don't know if anybody have had any experience with them, but they are kind of fun in the garden. And they stay dormant over the winter time, and they stay out in your garden, pop up, and now they're starting to show some life. So that's how hardy these onions are. And the reason they call them an Egyptian walking onion is as the season goes on, they end up producing these little bulbs that stay on the top of the onion, and the onion stops, they get about that tall, and then they develop this little, there's four little onions on there. And then how they refer to it as a walking onion is this onion here then falls off from the top of the green part, lays into the soil all by itself, and then finds itself a spot in the soil and starts growing. Now these guys here have found themselves a spot. Look at here. We've got some nice little green sprouts coming up on these onions, and they walked to a different area. Kind of cool, because you don't have to worry about going ahead and buying more the following year to fill in some of the gaps. They just keep on moving. And if you have some that are just lying down there on the soil, you can pick them up and move them to an area where it looks like you've got some gaps in that onion patch and fill it in. So really neat. You can come out, you can cut these little tops off and use them into your breakfasts in the morning, or if you want to use them in your roasts or on top of your eggs, and they just keep on growing. I mean, they're just an absolutely wonderful little addition to the garden. So I would recommend them. Give them a try. You could probably order them out of some of the seed catalogs. Not all of them carry it, but just look for some walking onions, and you'll find out that they're pretty interesting. So we're going to move over to the onion plants that we put in about a week ago. Now, we've had some really cold weather, and a lot of the onion plants are starting to show some nice strength in them. They got a little bit of a brown tip on them, but that's just probably from the cold and the shock that they ended up getting when the cold weather ended up hitting. But we've had some nice rains, and of course the snow that we got the other night was a great addition, because that snow has got a lot of nitrogen in it, and it feeds those onion plants really, really nice. And they just, oh man, they're happy right now. I come out here and they're dancing every once in a while. So that's what we got right now going. The shallots that we ended up planting, there's not much life to those yet, so we're going to leave those go a little bit before we start showing you some of those results. But these are the things that we're going to just kind of walk along with as things start to perk up, and we'll keep you updated and busy with our gardens as much as we're going to be busy. So once again, thanks again for stopping here at Northeast Iowa, and well, obviously we're going to be talking to you soon. Thank you.